It is Wednesday, the 25th day of May 2022. You're just in time for News Watch on Hope TV, where you look and live. Let us get you briefed on the latest news as the country continues to count down to the August polls. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Let's begin. The National Assembly Finance Committee, led by Homa Bay woman Representative Gladys Wanga, has presented before the House its recommendations on the Finance Bill 2022. The committee has rejected the proposals to increase taxes contained in the bill by the National Treasury, as it seeks to raise monies to fund the 2022-2023 budget. This means that food prices will not shoot as it had been projected, given that the value-added tax on maize and wheat flour will have strained the already burdened Kenyans to put food on the table. Dickens Luvanda begins with his story.
The National Assembly Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning has succumbed to pressure from various stakeholders that a good number of proposals in the Finance Bill 2022 will do more harm than good to the taxpayer if passed.
In line with its mandate, the Budget and Appropriations Committee held discussion with the Parliamentary Service Commission and the Office of the Auditor General to critically review their budget estimates.
The Finance Bill is primarily about revenue-raising measures to enable us finance the budget.
After dismissing the bill in favor of common mwananchi, the committee, chaired by Homa Bay woman Representative Gladys Wanga, tabled in Parliament the bill for debate on Wednesday, with majority of the lawmakers backing the committee's recommendations.
Hadi lini tutaendelea kukadiria hali ya hewa ikiwa kama kigezo kikubwa katika bajeti zetu za nchi, Mheshimiwa Spika?
Mr. Speaker, the world and the country is reeling from the effects of COVID-19 that has resulted in loss of jobs and lives and consequently affected revenue-raising measures.
The total budget for the financial year 2022-2023, the total is Kenya shilling 3 trillion and 45 billion shillings.
The National Treasury, through Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani, sought to increase taxes on food items, beauty products, betting and alcohol beverages, so as to raise an additional 51.6 billion shillings from the new tax. Measures contained in the Finance Bill. According to the Gladys Wanga-led committee, higher taxes, which will be passed on consumers, are likely to breed underground activities, such as raising illicit brews and gaming funds placing bets with the offshore companies, a move that now forces Treasury to look elsewhere for money to plug the hole in the 2022-2023 financial year 3.33 trillion shillings budget.
There's a proposal in the bill to provide exemption on plant and machinery imported for manufacture of pharmaceutical products. Honorable Speaker, this we agree with totally, and we laud the Treasury because if we can do this for manufacture of pharmaceutical products, including vaccines, then we would have a way of manufacturing vaccines here. Because you realize that when we had the pandemic, it was everyone for themselves. Even the developed world, they wanted to take care of their populations first before they think about any other.
Proposals in the Finance Bill 2022, which have been turned down by members of Parliament, included value-added tax on maize and wheat flour, which will have added the pressure of putting food on the table for many Kenyans, with MPs arguing that adding tax on maize and wheat flour will reduce working capital for businesses and deny justice to the taxpayers, especially if they cannot raise the amount.
We have to be very eager to ensure that we do not tax the basic food that is consumed by our people to raise taxes. Because if you look at what happened in Northern Sudan, it was just the raising of the bread prices that brought the entire government down. So we have to be very clear that our people should not sleep hungry.
The local beauty industry, however, suffered a setback after the committee allowed 15% excise duty on cosmetics after the Treasury proposed to increase excise tax on cosmetics, saying it will help to fight fake products. Manufacturers had opposed the move, arguing that higher prices will result in an influx of fake products in the market. The proposed 10% excise duty on alcohol and tobacco products has been retained, but rejected on fruit juices, soft drinks and ice cream.
Honorable members, I will propose a question.
The National Assembly Finance Committee also recommended lowering of value-added tax on liquefied petroleum gas to 8% from 16%, with the National Assembly now expected to vote on the report. The move by Parliament to shoot down the proposed tax increase on food items by the National Treasury comes as a major reprieve at a time Kenyans are lamenting over the high cost of living. Dickens Rwanda, Hope TV News Watch in Kangemi, Nairobi County.
Thank you very much, Dickens, for that report. Now, the 7-member tribunal appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta to probe suspended High Court Judge Said Juma Chitembwe have been sworn in at the Supreme Court. Chief Justice Martha Koome, speaking during the swearing ceremony, expressed confidence that the tribunal will perform the task in accordance with the law. In a Gazette notice, President Uhuru Kenyatta appointed the team to look into the allegations against the judge and determine his suitability to serve.
It is all systems go for the commencement of investigations on the allegations of gross misconduct fronted by 4 petitioners seeking the removal of embattled High Court Judge Said Chitembwe after the tribunal appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta to investigate the matter was sworn in earlier on Wednesday.
Do solemnly swear that I will at all times obey, respect and uphold the Constitution of Kenya and all other laws of the Republic.
Chief Justice Martha Koome, speaking during the swearing-in ceremony, implored on the tribunal to conduct the investigations in accordance with the law to ensure fairness in their judgment.
I therefore have confidence that you will perform the task before you in accordance with the law, bearing in mind all the principles of fairness that are provided for in our Constitution, and above all, the cardinal value and principle of ensuring at all the time justice is done.
The tribunal was appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta on May 19th following the recommendation by the Judicial Service Commission, JSC, that he does so to probe the conduct of Chitembwe pending his removal from office. The tribunal has a challenging task ahead of it, seeing that their judgment can bring to an end the career of Justice Chitembwe. Martha Koome, while acknowledging that they had an enormous responsibility placed on them, charged the tribunal to act in accordance with the oath.
The oath which you have taken today should guide you in your work, and according to that oath, you must not depart from the law. The oath also requires you to serve this country to the best of your abilities, and bearing in mind the enormous responsibility that is placed upon you. Looking at all of you and your stellar career and distinguished service to this nation, I have no doubt that this task is in good hands that will bring pride to our country and to our Constitution.
I undertake, and I know that my members undertake with me, that we will obey the oath that we have taken, that we will do our duty as members of the tribunal without fear or favor or ill will, and in a manner that will bring honor both to the judiciary and to our country.
In days to come, should the tribunal determine that Chitembwe is guilty and therefore recommend his removal to the president, he will have a chance within 10 days to challenge the decision at the Supreme Court. However, should he fail to challenge or fail in the appeal, he will be removed from office. The tribunal is chaired by Lady Justice Mombi Ngugi, while other members are Senior Counsel Dr. Fred N. Ojambo, Lady Justice Abida Ali Aroni, Justice Nzioki wa Makau, Justice Ocheng Odwol, Retired General Jackson W. Ndongo, and Dr. Lydia Nzomo, while Senior Counsel Kirago Kimani will be the lead counsel. Joseph Gitonga Ryungu and Edward Omoti Nyang'ao will be assisting counsel, while Jasper M. Buki and Sarayamo will be joint secretaries. Resongoi for Hope TV News Watch.
Much appreciated, Grace. To some politics, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga has promised that Vihiga County will have a university, a KMTC medical training college, excellent infrastructure and water for rich home upon his win in August. This is as Raila has officially begun his 5-day political tour in Western Kenya. Accompanied by other leaders supporting the declaration, Odinga called on the Mlembe community to strengthen peace in the current political climate, exuding confidence of winning in the upcoming elections.
Mimi nimeshangaa wengine wanasema ati wanataka kusaidia watu wa chini. Wewe unasaidia watu wa chini, mmesoma gazeti ya leo. Mtu ako na eka 2500 shamba huko Taita Taveta, mtu mmoja anaweza saidia mtu ya chini? Anaweza saidia mtu ya chini? Kama unataka kusaidia watu, anza kugawa hiyo shamba kwanza. Iko watu ambao hawana shamba yoyote hapa Kenya. Uanze kufanya nini? Na sasa watu wanasema ati yeye anataka kusaidia watu wa chini kupeleka juu. Swali wale wa Kenya wote tumetembea kila pahali. Wanajiuliza nani alitupeleka chini?
Kiongozi wetu ni Raila Amolo Odinga. Lakini kuna wengine wengi ambao watambuliki na wengi, lakini wakipata heshima sisi tunafurahi. Martha Karua ni mmoja wa viongozi wanaharakati. A promise to fight corruption, a promise for a decent Kenya, a promise to celebrate the good values of Kenyans. Kwa niaba ya wanaharakati wote, narudia kukushukuru sana Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga kwa kututunukia Deputy President kiwango kile cha Mama Martha Karua.
Waluya mmetembea na baba kuagiza kwa msituni, na sasa baba ameanza kugonga mlango ya State House. Msirudi nyuma kuagiza, tuingie ndani, tukae State House na tupate matunda ya uhuru ya nchi hii.
Tutajenga manyumba ya kisasa. Local housing scheme tutaleta hapa, ili watu wanakwenda wanaishi pale ambayo imepangwa vizuri. Kuna manyumba pale watu wanaishi, kuna pale ya kufanya kazi, kuna vile shule ndani yake, kuna vile iko vituo vya matibabu huku ndani, na soko vile hapo ndani, ili tuache mambo hii ya mtu amejenga pande ile nyingine amejenga hapa namna hiyo. Hatutaki namna hiyo. Tutaka kupanga vizuri, watu naishi vizuri vile wamefanya kule Korea. Vihiga Cluster Water Project funded by the Belgian government. Hiyo Belgiji wamejenga imekwisha, lakini ile fereji ya kusambaza hapa Vihiga ndio bado hajafanyika. Sio? Na niambiwa ilikuwa ni shilingi milioni 200 peke yake. Na watu wa Vihiga wanapata maji, sio? Vile hiyo uhuru siku ile mtakuja kupeana chata huko, hiyo mambo vile itafanyika. Sinawezekana.
Now, still in politics, Deputy President William Ruto has called upon Kenyans to vote for leaders who have a good track record. Addressing his supporters at the Mbaraki Sports Club grounds in Mombasa County, DP Ruto noted that most of the presidential aspirants are not new to politics, hence voters should be wise enough to make their decision. The Kenya Kwanza presidential flag bearer also pledged to return port operations to Mombasa if he clinches the presidency. Meanwhile, the Kenya Kwanza running mate, that is Rigathi Gachagua, was in Eldoret for the Uasin Gishu Economic Forum, accompanied by several other Kenya Kwanza politicians.
Yule mwenzangu hana uwezo wa kurudisha port operations kutoka Naivasha na Nairobi kwa sababu yeye ni kibaraka, yeye ni project, yeye ni muradi ya wale wamefaidika na port operations kwenda Naivasha na Nairobi. Na Waswahili Waingereza wanasema he who pays the piper calls the tune. Sasa yule kibaraka anaweza kwenda kupingana na yule mwenye mradi mwenyewe? Hakuna uwezo gani? Sijui kama tunaelewana. Yule bwana hawezi. Ni poro.
Well, away from politics, victims of Enospukia tribal clashes in Naivasha are set to be compensated after the government announced a resettlement plan. This is after 30 years of waiting since the clashes in 1992, after more than 1,000 families were evicted from their homes. According to Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui, the county has taken up the issue with the national government, and the vetting exercise will kick off next week. Here's Dolly Murigi with more.
After a 30-year wait, victims of the Enospukia tribal clashes have a reason to smile after the government embarked on the process of vetting them ahead of their planned settlement. Those set to benefit from resettlement are close to 1,000 families that were evicted from Narok in 1992 and settled in Maela, Naivasha, awaiting government support. Speaking in Maela, Kinyanjui said that he will be working with a list of 988 families which were evicted from the village located in Narok at the height of post-election violence.
Tumeweza kuchukua hatua kubwa, na sasa ile stage tunaelekea ni kitu inaitwa vetting. Hiyo nilikuwa nikitaja kwa wale pengine hawajafahamu, ni for our Enospukia, wale walifurushwa, na it's about mambo ya resettlement yao.
During the meeting, the governor challenged Kenyan to come up with a flagship project in the area which bordered the Geothermal Ridge area of the Olkaria, saying the power generation company from construction of the 331 million outpatient wing at Naivasha Sub-County Hospital, terming it as a game changer in the health sector. The governor revisited the threats by the Kenya Kwanza team that they would close down the Naivasha dry port and return business to Mombasa if elected into office.
Raila Amolo Odinga tumeweza kukaa naye chini, na baadhi ya mambo tumezungumza ni kwamba ile miradi yote ilianzishwa na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta hapa Nakuru tungetaka iendelezwe. Correct? Hapa Mai Mahiu tumeanzisha industrial park. Pia tumelete reli mpaka hapa Mai Mahiu. Hatungetaka tulete serikali ambayo itakuja kuondoa hiyo mambo yote hapa. Ile mipango yote ambayo tumekuwa nayo katika hii serikali, na tumeangalia wote, ule ambaye ametuhakikishia kwamba atakaweza kusimama na hiyo miradi yote ni huyo Raila Amolo Odinga.
Ili wapewe kura na watu wa Mombasa, wameandikiana agreement ati wakichaguliwa siku 100 ikiisha watafunga hiyo port irudi Mombasa, hizo viwanda zinajengwa hapo zifungwe. Kwa hivyo nyinyi muwachague kwa hayo. Mnaweza kubali?
The chairman of the Enospukia evictees, James Karanja, welcomed the planned vetting exercise, noting that they had suffered for years.
Mimi wakati niliwachwa Maela, niliwachwa nikisikitika na nililia, nikajaribu kusunguka, lakini watu wa Maela wale wametoka Enospukia wanastahili kushirikiwa na serikali kuu. Lakini mimi nilikuja, wakati nilikuja nikalilia MCA wetu, akanichukua akaniweka kwa governor na tukaongea machache. Kwa hivi governor anafanya kazi kwa huruma yake.
Dolly Murigi, Hope TV.
Quite a relief indeed. Thank you, Dolly, for that report. On that note, let's take our first break on News Watch tonight. We will be back with plenty more. Don't go too far.
What's the 9,000 doing? I can't believe my eyes! Team Platypus!
Yes! I knew they could do it! But how? Get ready for a super surprise this coming Sunday with all new super episodes.
Who will join me?
They're delivering bread and meat to Elijah. All new super adventures, all new super season.
I'm Chris. I'm Joy, and this is Gizmo. You should come with me.
Let's have fun while learning from Chris, Joy, and Gizmo.
What are you doing?
All new Superbook Season 4 exclusive to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. Let's continue with news. The Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya is supporting the Pharmacy and Poisons Board in their endeavor to close unlicensed facilities that don't serve the public by the letter of the law. PSK has come boldly to create awareness against wrongful obtaining of prescription medications and their abuse. This is after a local media station in an expose showed how unsuspecting revelers become victims of spiked drinks and are then robbed of their money and valuables. In the video, suspects are seen using drugs acquired illegally through pharmacies and unscrupulous medical practitioners to fleece Kenyans.
As PSK, we have a plan, a very robust plan to share with the government, and the president is willing, the cabinet secretary, they are willing. We see which areas do we need to tackle? The distribution of the controlled drugs, the possession of the controlled drugs, the dispensing aspect of this drug, and then we look at the penalties. How can we amend the law?
The Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya is actually very supportive and happy that the PPB, the Poisons and Pharmacy and Poisons Board, has been shutting down facilities that are not licensed, registered, that are not following the instructions or the letter of the law as regards to prescriptions and how they serve the public. We are also noticing that the Mchele issue is just a tip of the iceberg of other issues that are happening that regard the safety of medications. Things like, for example, the codeine issue. That's another thing that everybody, that a lot of the public is obtaining without a script and using it the way they shouldn't use it. So as a result, PSK has been working on a Green Cross accreditation system. A Green Cross accreditation is a pharmacy that has met some standard. It is a registered pharmacy that has met some standard, that's run the way it should be run. And when you go to a Green Cross pharmacy, you are sure you'll get the medication that you've been prescribed. It is a registered product. It is not a product that came from the street or some other place. And the patient that's coming on there is a patient who actually is supposed to be on the script.
Away from that, the Nyandarua County government has launched a 2021 to 2030 forest landscape restoration strategy in a bid to align conservation policies and regulatory frameworks at the county level. Speaking during the launch of the strategy in Olkalau, Nyandarua Governor Francis Kimemia said forest and land degradation adversely affect and deplete resources that form bases for livelihoods to millions of people worldwide. The governor noted that Nyandarua County, like other counties, also faces challenges from unpredictable climate change and landscape degradation, hence the need for an immediate attention. Being the first devolved unit to develop and implement the strategy, Kimemia said that the move will see restoration of degraded forests, landscapes, riparian zones, and agricultural landscapes through multi-sectoral stakeholders' approaches.
Today we have just launched the Nyandarua County Forest Landscape Restoration Strategy 2021 to 2030, and it's basically informed by the national process of the national strategy of forest landscape restoration 2021 to 2025, and which will go then up to 2030. And this is because the country as a Kenya committed through the Bond Challenge and the African AFR 100 that we need to put about 5.1 million hectares of the degraded Kenyan landscape into forests. In 2018, we are at 5.99%, but we are able to improve that to 8.83%. And therefore, these are key milestones. But they have happened not in a vacuum. They have happened because many stakeholders, both government, national level, county level, the private sector, non-state actors, and more so the communities, have been able to come together.
We have been able to achieve more than 26.2%, and the tree cover 27.6%. So those are very high targets, bearing in mind that some counties are less than 1%. Some counties are less than 1%. So, but to achieve the national average, then those counties in the high potential areas must improve their capacity to be able to come up with an average for the nation of Kenya that competes internationally.
Residents of suburban area in the outskirts of Kisii town are up in arms against the blocking of a water spring by a private developer, denying them access to the essential commodity. The residents of St. Stephen's village along Kisii-Kisumu Road accused the developer of transporting and heaping soil excavated from a construction site and dumping it on the spring.
Hii maji tulikuwa tunatumia tangu 69, mimi nilikuwa mdogo, nilikuwa natumwa hapa maji. Mkuu mzee mmoja ndiye alitengeneza hii mfereji ya hii maji tukija tukichota. Sasa tulisangaa tangu last week maji imefungwa. Hatuna maji, hatujaoga, hatuchafua, vyombo vinakuwa chafu kwa nyumba. Na sangaa tuko Northeastern ama tuko Kisii.
Sasa kosa ni lile kwamba wamefunika maji yetu na wamefunika sehemu kubwa sana chemichemi ya maji. Na inaeleweka kwamba kaunti yetu ya Kisii haijatupatia maji na sijui kama iko na uwezo, lakini naona kama haina uwezo wa kutupatia maji. Sasa tunategemea maji haya, mto huyu na mito mingine. Sasa tunaomba kama serikali inaweza kuingilia ndani, mashirika yale ambayo yanahusika kama Neema, mazingira, watusaidie tupate maji yetu.
Azimio la Umoja supporters have sharply opposed an attempt by the Narok County Assembly to debate a motion on the renewal of the management agreement between the county government of Narok and the Mara Conservancy Limited on the collection of revenue at the Mara Triangle. The supporters, led by Narok North Member of Parliament Moitalel Olekenta, wondered why the current administration under the leadership of Governor Samuel Tunai was pushing for the renewal of the administration under the leadership of Governor Samuel Tunai without holding any public participation.
As the religious group, we are saying that Masai Mara belongs to the people of Narok. A few people will not sit together and try to manipulate and pass a bill or bring people together, just a few, without public participation. Exactly. Sure. Give room for public participation. Right. We have so many forums for that to be discussed. But just getting a few people, a few MCS, dishing some cash so that you pass the bill, and we know, why are you doing it now and you've never done it before? There must be a sinister motive behind. So as a religious group, we are opposing them in the strongest terms possible.
Na kuhakikishia tarehe 28 kama hii agreement ama MCOs akipitisha hii, siku hiyo ndio sisi tutakuwa na demonstration ambayo haijawahi kupatikana Narok. Atumalize please, atumalize ila alitumaliza siku ile alitupiga risasi na kutuua kwa county kwa county yetu. Na ningetaka kuambia security team waambie serikali ama wahakikishie serikali kwamba watu wa Narok wanateswa sana na Tunai na hizi watu na wanakata. Sasa ni wakati sasa serikali ya Uhuru Kenyatta kuja kuokoa jamii ya Narok.
Now, a cross-section of parents in Embu East have appealed to corporate bodies to chip in and offer more CSR programs to support the less privileged pupils who have not reported to school. Nicholas Muraya, the principal at St. Mary's Kiga Secondary School, revealed that many students at his school were from single mothers and orphans who could not afford to pay for boarding fees. He was speaking at the school when Pioneer Insurance Company kicked off an ambitious program that will see students from about 235 schools across 47 counties benefit from a total of 10 million shillings in bursaries.
Kuna watoto wengi sana hapa wanahitaji msaada, wasaidiwe. Kama hapo kwangu nyumbani kuna katoto kako hapo, sushi yake ni kiwete, anjiwezi. Ningeomba hata huyo mtoto asaidiwe.
Wangu ni msinda sana kwa sababu mimi nasomesha shosho. Nimeshamaliza kazi ya kusomeza wangu, lakini niko na shosho na kwa sababu amenisaidia. Sasa niseme niko na furaha sana kwa sababu fees ni jambo kubwa sana, hata siwezi jua nitoe wapi, na kwa vile wamenisaidia nimefurahia sana.
Assisted 5, but still we have a bigger number that really requires assistance. In this area, most of the learners are from single parents or total orphans, and quite almost half of the learners are needy. So your coming has really gone a long way in helping them achieve their education. You've also impacted something very important to them, this aspect of adopting a tree, planting trees. It is a very good idea if it is adopted by the young ones, because now they will grow knowing that planting trees is important, environmental conservation is important, and therefore they will pass the same to the future generations.
The Women Education and Health for Development Organization in Garissa has urged all women in the region suffering from fistula to come out and receive free treatment at the Garissa Referral Hospital. Fistula is a disease that makes it hard to hold urine or stool. Speaking during the celebrations of the International Fistula Day in Garissa, Anthony Njoroge said the organization, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Fistula Foundation, are sensitizing the communities to stop stigmatizing victims of fistula.
Tunaendelea kuhamasisha akina mama kuhusu fistula. Tunawatafuta, tunawapeleka hospitali, wanatibiwa. Matibabu ni bure. Kuanza December ndio through Warhead and Fistula Foundation tulijaribu na County Referral Hospital Garissa. Kwa hiyo miezi kutoka January up to April, mama 60 wamefanyiwa surgery. Na hapo zamani walikuwa wanaenda mbali sana, walikuwa wanaenda Eldoret ama Nairobi. Tumeona hiyo huduma ilipoletwa hapa Garissa imesaidia mama wengi sana.
Leo tumekutana tuweze kuambia community ya kwamba fistula inatiba na inaweza tibiwa.
We are doing a lot of awareness from the grassroots, from the village itself. First of all, by creating awareness, we are trying to educate, empower those women, especially the TBS, traditional birth attendants, the midwives, wale wakungwa kabisa, those who are in the villages who are doing these acts of FGM practices.
Shukrani kubwa sana hao mama shirika hii walijitoa kutuelimisha na kuelimisha wa mama wetu uko chini vijijini, na tunasema hongera. Na mama yote ana hiyo shida akisikia sauti yangu leo, tafadhalini wasiliana na Warhead, mama kipekee ya shirika inayesimamia mambo ya fistula. Na kama mama tunaamini ya kuwa hii shida yote inatokezea wapi, ni kukata wasichana yetu. FGM ndio the ring leader of all this. So ningesema mama wetu wa Somali tuache hiyo maneno, tuseme zero to FGM.
Let us now cross our borders. 19 children and 2 teachers have been killed in a school shooting in Texas. The attack happened on Tuesday at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, west of San Antonio. The children killed were aged between 7 and 10. It is the deadliest shooting at a U.S. elementary school since 20 children and 6 adults died at Sandy Hook School a decade ago. President Joe Biden has made an emotional call for the U.S. to stand up to the gun lobby and tighten restrictions. The suspect, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos, was shot dead at the scene.
As a nation, we have to ask, when in God's name are we going to stand up to the gun lobby? When in God's name we do what we all know in our gut needs to be done? To lose a child is like having a piece of your soul ripped away. There's a hollowness in your chest. You feel like you're being sucked into it and never going to be able to get out. Suffocating. And it's never quite the same.
But I'm here on this floor to literally get down on my hands and knees and beg my colleagues. find a path forward here. Work with us to find a way to pass laws that make this less likely.
Back to Africa, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema has announced that he is making moves to abolish death penalty in the country. Hakainde said he will work with Parliament to run the process as they transition away from the death penalty and focus on the preservation and rehabilitation of life while still delivering justice for all. Though Zambia has had the death penalty law, no executions have taken place since the late 90s. The government will now work with Parliament to transition from the death penalty to focusing on preserving and rehabilitating life. Let's take another break on News Watch. We will be back with business news.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. Let's talk business. Huawei Technologies Kenya has unveiled its ICT training center at its training center at the African Advanced Level Telecommunications Institute in Nairobi. The training program with the highly skilled local instructors seeks to provide training to telecommunications operators, government ICT officers, network contractors, industry partners, and university students. The Huawei East Africa Region Training Center, launched in June 2021, targets professionals and students with passion for ICT in line with the progressive digitization and digitalization of government services. Already, the Ministry of ICT signed a deal with Huawei to make Huawei Kenya Engineering Training Academy an authorized training center for ICT skills. The collaboration agreement will see the two organizations partner over the next 3 years to scale up ICT capacities countrywide as government services increasingly go online and more Kenyans embrace digital connectivity.
So this particular training center officially opened last year. We have currently trained 1,500 people through these doors. We do certification training here, so we do novice to medium, and then we do experts. So we do level 1, level 2, and level 3, and that can be in various IT fields and domains, such as transmissions, wireless switches and routers, modular, as well as health and safety. Well, we currently also have ICT academies, so we have a train the trainer sort of style of doing it. So we will train teachers from the higher learning institutions, and then they will then pass on that knowledge to the students. And we currently have partnerships with over 80 higher learning institutions in the country.
And Kenswitch Kenya Limited and Absa Bank Kenya PLC have formed a partnership that will allow the bank's customers to access over 2,200 ATMs on the Kenswitch network, thereby increasing access to banking services. Under the partnership, over 10 million Kenswitch member bank customers can also transact on Absa's ATM network countrywide. Kenswitch promotes enhanced interoperability between banks to deepen financial inclusion by allowing customers to conveniently access banking services across Kenswitch branded ATM outlets in areas where their banks have no physical presence. for And in sports, a total of 50 grassroots soccer referees in Embu County have benefited from a free course organized by Football Kenya Federation, that is FKF, in a bid to improve the level of officiating as well as open up new opportunities for them. The 5-day training, according to FKF Embu branch chair Charles Njagi, was aimed at equipping them with key knowledge and skills to be able to referee matches safely and effectively. Njagi was speaking after issuing Class 3 certificates to the participants at the Talent Academy Hall in Embu Town, said the training also sought to keep them abreast with the changing laws of the game, as well as sharing the Federation's program with regard to various leagues.
Ni vile huku kwa ground ama huku kwa hizi games ziko huku mashinani, at times mnaenda unapata kuna tushida kidogo kidogo, unaangalia referee unaona ana make mistake, unaona lakini ujui, lakini kuna kale ka knowledge uko nako kadogo, ukiona unaona huyu mtu anafanya makosa. So hizo issues nikienda game, kuna team na kuanga official, so nikiona hiyo makosa kidogo ndio ikafanya nikakuwa na hiyo motisha ya kusomea urefari. Masomo imekuwa poa, nimeshika. So vile naweza encourage ladies hapo nje, masomo ni rahisi as long as unajiamini. Wanaume ni wengi lakini lazima pia si tujitokeze.
Hii training itasaidia pia kukuza talanta za vijana, kwa sababu kama vile unajua referee is a trainer himself, referee is an educator himself, referee ni mtu ambaye anachangia kiwango kikubwa sana in the field of play. Kwa hivyo atasaidia kiwango ama the level of talent itaendelea kukua, kwa sababu mahali referee yuko utapata kutakuwa na coaches, mahali kuna referee utapata kuna timu inachipuka, mahali kuna referee utapata kuna mpira labda inachezwa, na hiyo ndio itainua kiwango cha talent ama kiwango cha ofisi ama kiwango cha teams kuweza kuchipuka, na hapo ndio tutaona vijana wengi wakichipuka kwa maneno ya mipira na itaimprove sana kiwango. Kama vile unajua miaka iliyopita hakukuwa na such trainings, na now that we have such trainings is an opportunity even for our referees and even for our players to prove to the world that in Embu we got talent.
Boston Marathon champion Evans Chebet has been named a sports personality of the month of April. The Kapsabet-based athlete faced stiff competition from other nominees to win the award for the first time following an outstanding performance in the Boston Marathon, where he clocked a time of 2 hours, 6 minutes and 59 seconds to win his first ever Boston Marathon title. Evans appreciated the award, saying it will give him psychological aid as he prepares for New York and Boston Marathon later this year.
We gather here today to celebrate one of us, Evans Chebet, for conquering all odds for emerging April Sports Personality of the Month. A 33-year-old man, energetic athlete. Chebet won the men's race in an unofficial time of 2 hours, 6 minutes and 51 seconds to claim his first Boston Marathon title. Besides, he also won his first international race, the Buenos Aires Marathon, in a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes. The year later, in March 2020, he won the Lake Biwa Marathon in 2007, 29 seconds.
Mimi ni champion ya Boston Marathon, winner ya. So nashukuru sana kwa kuniita mara yangu ya kwanza, na ndaendelea kujikasa watu msiti mniite. So next race ndaenda kung'ang'ana, then bado niende ning'ang'ane, kwa sababu najua umenipea moral sana. Tangu nikimbie sijawahi pewa zawadi kama ya leo. Rudishia LG, asante sana.
And KCB's women volleyball team has qualified for the round of 16 in the ongoing Africa Volleyball Women's Club competition in Tunisia. The Bankers finished second in Pool B, having won their opening and finishing fixtures against Mimosa of Ivory Coast and University Volleyball Elites of Uganda, respectively, and will face Nigerian side Custom Service tomorrow. KCB last participated in the Africa Women's Volleyball Club Championships in 2019, where they finished 9th. Well, that concludes Newswatch tonight. Thank you so much for watching and your valuable company. On behalf of the whole team that has made this bulletin a success, we appreciate you. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's do this tomorrow, same place, same time, God willing. Have a good night.